that is why Dargan is eating all the popcorn.
Yeah. After sitting through probably a few hours of hearing out our hero's tale, during which time did they leave out anything? Did they emphasize anything? Are there any nuances to the telling of your tale that you wish to modify as you speak with Paracelsus?
I think that from John's angle, he's going to give it to him straight. He's going to be very clear that, especially early on, he was doing everything very reactionary. As he continued on, he was very hopeful, doing only what he had to do to secure his way back home. And afterwards, giving up hope was just living out his time until eventually meeting up with the rest of 1-2 Punch, and now their most recent adventures, in which there has been many hijinks, miscommunications of who is and isn't allies, enemies, whatnot, and their current quest.
By this point, Paracelsus' popcorn bag is about... There's only 1/3 left, and he's sort of picking out the dead kernels that didn't pop. And he doesn't say it, but the subtitles appear. You'd think in an extra-dimensional movie theater there wouldn't be any dead kernels. Well, that explains a lot.
Can I tell Dargan? Hey Dargan, that reminds me, maybe if you like fire breathe on some of the dead ones, that they'll turn into popcorn.
When Paracelsus hears that, he takes his popcorn and he just flings the bag, like he just hurls it and it goes over his shoulder and little bits and pieces fly everywhere. Don't damage the upholstery, please. Thank you.
Just little ones.
Dargan whispers in the confines of your mind, and the words appear on the screen. Can I eat the new one? No.
The new popcorn. Only popcorn.
Fine. Munch. With the popcorn that was in his hands now gone, Paracelsus sort of steeples his fingers together and taps them a few times. And well, you've done all the talking so far.
Indeed, we have.
Yeah. So did I presume you got some questions on your side, assuming you even know what they are.
Well, first and foremost, I think we'd like to know your opinion of this tale, but beyond that, I have a personal question.
My opinion is that it explains a lot.
I can imagine. If there was a way for you to be able to track down a wayward agent such as myself, why did no one come looking for me before it was discovered that I may be connected to some interdimensional plan to unleash this dragon across the cosmos?
Yeah, we did. You have to understand there's a lot of universes out there. It's imagine a needle and a haystack of needles on a planet of needles. That sort of thing. Now, I know the seekers we sent out, well, no, they brought seekers with them, were quite good at tracking you down, but that was only once they sort of knew where to look for you. But in the rest of it, it took us some time to figure out that you weren't dead.
And from the time it took you to discover I wasn't dead until the time it took you to send seekers to find me, when did you go from being worried about your wayward son to hunting them down because they were apparently trying to undo the multiverse?
Almost immediately. There's a reason for that. There's a lot of reasons for that. But before we talk about that, was that really a personal question? That didn't seem too personal. That seemed more relevant to you, but not personal in the traditional sense.
Yeah, that was pretty personal, sir. Considering I was the person lost, and
Oh, in this case, it would be it's not personal, it's just business. I think that's the traditional response to that one. Never mind. Never mind. Sorry. I'm not always the best at this sort of thing.
yeah, you're worse than I am, sir.
See, it's funny that you should say that. After all, why would they send old Paracelsus out of touch, a bwomber, I think the youth would call me, a bwomber, completely out of touch with everything, all these newfangled things. Why would they send him out to talk with rogue agent John Carmichael and the dragon punchy lady? That's an odd choice, don't you think?
I suppose it would depend on what you're here for.
Yes. Well, they didn't.
And you're insinuating that this meeting is off.
Didn't send me. They did not send me. The Coriander Society did not send me.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
no.
No.
So
no,
you're
that's fair.
rogue?
Rogue is a very, very murky term at the moment. I'd say I'm no more rogue than Mr. Carmichael.
Well, I thought Mr. Carmichael. That's weird to say. I thought John here
right?
was like 100% confirmed rogue.
Well, he just told us he never stopped doing the job. It's just that he was now doing the job somewhere else under different circumstances, without contact with the society, while being hunted down as a fugitive. So you ask the society, yes. You ask John, no.
But now you're just saying that they just forgot about him? That sounds like way less exciting.
Forget about him. It just took them forever to find him.
They thought he was dead.
Right. Well, we couldn't exactly do a forensic analysis of the crime scene.
I think what Mr. Paracelsus is trying to say is that there was no reason to believe that a one John Carmichael would have survived such an encounter with the Pack Malefict, and it was only after doing their due diligence, collecting the evidence, that they began to realize that not only did this rogue agent, or rather this missing agent, leave, but they were rogue with one of the most dangerous artifacts in possession, and immediately thought that such a person would have had to have made a deal rather than somehow, clever or otherwise, devised a way to get away from this dangerous group. Is that right, sir?
Close enough. Would you like me to be helpful? I think it'd be helpful if I was helpful.
I mean, obviously so, sir. That's why we came here.
Right.
How do you propose to offer such help?
Well, I need you to help me so I can help you.
Where have I heard this before? Oh, yeah. Absolutely everywhere.
That's the way of the worlds, isn't it?
Plural. Yes, you're right. Go on.
No, John, your track record as an agent back on Earth. I know your career wasn't that far along yet, but your file was very highly recommended. I'd say lots to suggest that you would find a way to survive this sort of thing without selling your soul and threatening the integrity of the entire multiverse and blah, 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 blah. That's not the tale that made it out of headquarters, wherever that might be. In fact, I'd say just after that entire incident, the lot of tales started changing, John.
Do you mind sharing with us such things, sir?
Strange orders from up the chain. Everybody just immediately certain that you'd gone traitor. attempts to investigate the city beneath Boston shut down, sites cleaned up, agents reassigned.
Did they ever replace the Boston Lodge?
Yes, but your old handler didn't have too much of a choice in who got picked up for it.
How are they, by the way? How do they take the team's disappearance and death in terms of Maxwell?
Well, it's not that we ever... I mean, it took a while for us to figure out what happened to the rest of them, and by that time there was already a new team established, and the old Boston handler with his entire team gone was reassigned.
Really?
Yes, he's not in charge of the Boston team anymore. I don't know where they put him. Pushing papers, vanished with a black bag over his head.
That bad, really?
The society is compromised. And I think it has everything to do with your last mission, John.
The cyst. Do you think they infiltrated the society?
I can't think
One of them was
else.
able to do that, as far as if I recall correctly. They had an assassin, they had a crazy man. They had yeah, obviously, but I mean a really, really crazy man. They had a lich, and they had I don't know if you could call it a man, a person of many faces.
Yeah, we lost track of every single one of them after that. But I don't think they lost track of us, John. I think... In fact, with everything you've told me now, I am certain that the entire reason you've been hunted this entire time is not because our whole society is incompetent, but because powerful people wanted it to be that way.
God, why did I hadn't even, I'm going to be honest, I hadn't even considered that. Everything everything after that incident, I just kind of blocked out. I figured I'd come home and deal with it. It would be, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was a little worried there'd be no home to come back to, but God, I never thought they'd do something so insidious. But it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense for the Pact Malefic to... They're lost. They went somewhere without a way to return to what they are known. So what would they do? The next best thing to take over S.H.I.E.L.D., obviously. If Hydra has nowhere to go back to, take over S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
What?
You're from Earth. You don't get that no one ever gets my references.
Are we talking a Lernian Hydra or the fire-breathing type? And I don't understand what they have to do with this.
Nothing. Don't worry about it. In any case.
This is one of those marvelous things, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mostly only attend theaters like this. Too much of the computer-generated stuff. My eyes don't like it.
Oh. You and I would not get along, sir. I mean, at least beyond the bounds of, what you're used to. In any case, you offered help, and I'm more than happy that you shared what you have, but you said that we need to help you in order for you to help us. What does something like that entail?
Well, right now, we don't very much know who we can trust. But after everything that I've heard in this place, and all the theories I've put together myself over the years, and what befell the folks I sent after you, I think we can very much say that you can be trusted. Both of you. And the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we keep each other safe. Because there aren't very many of us. And so what I need is for the two of you to extract Hank McCarthy.
Okay. I mean, I'm not just saying okay, I'm just saying, like, that
Right,
could have
information.
already been on our list.
Right, so if we could move that up the list a little bit.
Why?
Well, because based on everything you've just told me, he's currently under the auspices of the enemy. This general you talked about, member of the Pact Malefic. And I know I can trust Hank. It's a very short list of people I can trust, and I want them all alive so we can figure out what to do next. Obviously, I figured out what to do next, but what we do next sort of depends on whether or not Hank McCarthy is alive and uncompromised, which I don't think he is, but based on the magical and scientific means, the disbursement of our enemies, we have to make sure of that, and we need to make sure that he gets out alive from the general.
Sir, I have a question before we continue. What's in this place that you've selected? I know that our sponsor displayed as text upon the screen. We are able to see every view of every corner of this place. But what defenses are set up in case things happen? What if it went south? What if you weren't as you said, or we weren't as we said, and we weren't making this parlay right now? Is there anything preventing me from, and John takes out his gun and points it right at his head. Is there anything preventing me from just shooting you right now?
Not particularly.
Without removing his gun, John just stares at Paracelsus and says, "Sir, with all due respect, considering what you just shared, what you know of what we've been through, and the insidious nature of what could be supplanting the society, I'm going to need you to prove right now that you're not that entity of many faces. It would be oh so perfect for us to work with the enemy, undoing ourselves in this very moment. I need to know you are who you are. I need you to prove it right now."
See, that's good, but you should have been thinking about that earlier when you were considering the society as a whole. This is a good kind of paranoia. I've not met this entity. So what constitutes proof?
That you are who you are. A blood sample. A localized field of anti-magic to prove that you're not hiding your face. Something along those lines. Some undisputable fact that you're not just shape-shifting right now.
Okay. Tell you what. And he grabs for your gun. What do you do?
I want to shoot him, considering you don't usually grab at someone holding a gun at you because they're trigger happy and they want to, reflex flick the thing that could keep them safe. But John wants to believe him.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that Paracelsus isn't stupid. He knows he isn't, at least he assumes he isn't a martial savant. And so when this bookish old world alchemist grabs for his gun, John is going to hold on to it, but he'll make no move to stop him.
Okay. He reaches in and pulls the trigger.
At himself?
At himself.
In that moment where he's about to pull the trigger on John's gun, can John insight check to see that he actually means to shoot himself to prove that he is who he is?
Sure. Roll an insight check.
Or is this just a game of weird chicken? This possible
he doesn't seem
enemies
afraid at all. He seems very much sort of matter of fact, like he's been this entire time.
John's gonna pull the gun like just at the last second, out of the way of blowing his freaking head off.
All right. Blam! The gun goes off and shoots a hole in the projector screen.
Whoa! I thought we were facing away from the John standing like
whatever
here.
direction it, yeah.
Thank
all right.
you.
So it blasts into the upholstery. Well,
Hey, that was all you. I didn't say to shoot yourself, damn it.
That would have been more dramatic, but his eyes.
What's your defense against a damn bullet between the eyes?
His eyes roll into the back of his head, and he just slumps over. And then, from outside in the lobby, Paracelsus walks in.
God damn it.
Oh my god.
He's up on the balcony now. Hello?
Hey. John shoots at him.
At the one up on the balcony?
Yes, specifically to miss him, but shoots right next to where his head would have been.
He ducks. He is now scared. And as he ducks,
God curses him. Damn it, Paracelsus!
the one that's down, like the one that just slumped over, gets back up and says, "Ah, da, 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 da."
You deserve that.
No!
John puts the gun away.
Well, you missed, so perhaps. But yes, surprise!
Is this a simulacrum in front of John?
It's a little bit better than that. A simulacrum would have actually been revealed by the panopticon. This is a fully functional biological replica.
A clone.
Yes, in the common parlance. It's more of an alchemical process combined with a bit of your modern earth science. But the point is, I would have been fine if you shot me. Just don't shoot me, please.
Ignoring the more ramifications of you worrying which one of you survives, since this is an exact clone of you.
But we're not... there's only one me.
Well, there's only one you up until you made this clone. Now there's functionally two of you.
Well, no, it's like having two arms. They're still connected to the same animus.
I'm just saying, traditionally, if this is an actual clone, if you were to perish, then your clone would
think of it as
take on your legacy.
A peripheral corpus.
Okay, so it's not a perfect replication of you.
Well,
still,
I think it's absolutely perfect, but the point is there's only one consciousness between the two. I have not created the spark of life. I have merely created a new apparatus.
Okay, so this is a vestige acting outside of you, but connected to you, is what you're saying.
Right.
Well, that's different. That's not a clone, is it?
You're the one who called it a clone. I never used that word. I was just trying to help
you. Agreed, sir. Damn it! This mustn't be entirely frustrating. I apologize, Asena. John puts the two bullets back in the gun and puts it back in the holster.
But yes, this is my grand deception. In case you chose to blow my brains out, I have a second pair of brains. But those ones up there are not replaceable. Consider this my...
I told you he didn't trust us.
I had to...
I mean, at least it wasn't an actual trap, right?
Precisely.
Sir, I need you to put one of those pairs of eyes away. Duck down or something.
When you look up on the balcony, you don't see him up there.
Okay, good.
That we're not capable of simultaneous operation. The human mind, unless expanded via supernatural properties, really should only comprehend one existence at a time. And so if I... And he stands up back on the balcony. As you can see, only one unit is capable of full operation. The one in the front seat gets up.
That is rather humorous, you have to admit, Asena.
My point is, behold my grand deception. Behold my true self. I don't know if that proves that I'm not the muse of war, but
Mate, while you're giving this final explanation, John, having caught on what was happening when he was doing that very elaborate back and forth switch, I would assume there's a moment between when one knocks out, the other one has to get back up again. John wants to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, roll it. What are you doing?
A 23. John's just putting a mustache on the closest one to him. He has no idea.
I hope that at the very least conveys my sincerity. Behold the vulnerable underbelly of the turtle.
I have beheld it, and it is a sweet, succulent space with which to bear your secrets. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, and what is this? What do you need us to do so that way you can assist us get back in the good graces of the society, if such a thing is even? I was hoping to rejoin back up with my brother and sisterhood, but it seems as though, honestly, that would be going into the belly of the beast.
No, I think your intentions are correct. In fact, I think both of you would best be served working alongside the Coriander Society as some of the only ones that we can actually trust. But it's less about restoring you to the good graces of the society and more restoring the good graces of the society itself.
So aside from rescuing Hank McCarthy, we need to start rooting out snakes in the grass, as it were.
And keeping those who can be trusted safe. We must reclaim it from within, starting in
Sir,
this very chamber.
aside from the four of us, six of us if you count our attaches, aside from those present here in this theater that we can see, and Hank McCarthy, you don't have to name names or anything, but how many people do you think you can honestly trust within the society, including those present here and the one we're going to rescue?
One. But I think we can
That's it?
expand that list.
Oh my god.
It's just a matter of
Wait,
diligence.
hold on. Wait, I thought you were going to say like 12. If it's one, what's the name? Who's the one?
Well, he's spoken very highly of you. If it wasn't for his vouch, I don't think I would have arranged for this meeting in the first place. We
Is
not
that Blackston?
believe how surprising it was to make contact.
John's trying to get a read on this guy. Does he know the person that he's insinuating?
Yes.
Is it a professional or a personal recommendation, does John feel?
Yes.
No, it couldn't be.
Not everybody, and that included you as well, Asena. Not everybody gets a letter of recommendation from an actual saint.
Oh, God, thank goodness. Okay,
Why?
no, that makes way more sense. No, that makes way more sense.
Who do you think I was talking about?
No, I thought that somehow she might have found out what I did. That's all. Don't worry about it. I mean, how many bombshells have been dropped on me just in the last few hours? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Might as well, blow them all up before we have to rebuild it all, right?
All things considered, I really appreciate that. Sir, would you be able to check in on somebody back at Earth for me?
Yes.
There's a woman, somebody who I spend a lot of time with, and she's an agent as well, just not in our capacity. And I was able to keep that part of my life hidden from her, but it was always a point of contention, and I was trying to keep her safe. And I've learned a lot since then. In any case, her name's Carmen. If you could just look in on her, she should be in my files somewhere. I haven't had the heart to try to reach out, and I thought it might make her a target, but considering everything I know now, I'd really appreciate if you could look into her for me.
Yes. That seems fair. Yes.
But St. George, yeah, I mean, pretty amazing, right?
Back to the very ancient roots of this society. Speaking of which, he looks now at Asena. Do you think that the two of you will be able to bring Hank McCarthy out safely?
Yeah, sure.
Who's the guy?
Good. And if you
That's gotta be like we've literally like battled elder evils, and you just want me to bust a guy from prison or wherever he is.
I think it's going to be a little bit worse than that, given that he's in the clutches of a nefarious interdimensional warlord. But your resume, he goes through, like, he pulls out some papers from his pocket, and they're terribly messy. There's like a greasy receipt in there. He just sort of goes through and says, I mean, St. George did talk about you killing a mountain, so I think that's probably good. Yes. And after that, would you be willing to help us, Asena?
Like officially?
unofficially, but officially. Very official. In an unofficial secret capacity.
Officially, unofficially, you know how it is.
Yes.
Needs must and all that.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that the society is in peril, and we can no longer restrict our vision to protecting Earth and its magical heritage. The universe is too big, and we can't do it alone. And as the heir to this interdimensional dragon, as somebody who's already been to so many different worlds and vanquished so many evils and has the power over travel that you do and the strength of character that you do, if we are going to save the Coriander Society, we need agents like you.
You're asking me to be an agent.
Yes.
Agent Asena.
You can adopt
That
a
sounds
code.
kind of weird. Yeah, I might need something else.
That's
While
fine.
this
We have
is
an
happening-
entire... Go ahead.
On the background of the screen, hopefully with Asena's back to the screen, John's subtitles just keep flashing up. Say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes, say yes.
Asena is standing up in the front. Paracelsus looks up at her and then sort of peers around her. And subtitles is, when did I grow a mustache? I'd say we have an
What
entire...
about
Yes.
what about Dargan and our kitty cat? Are they agents?
Well,
Come on. If we're officially unofficial agents, then they would also too need. They've been paramount. I mean, you've heard in ascertaining the pieces of the flesh of core and keeping us safe and in good company during our many months of travel.
He looks over, he sort of peeks up at the back of a receipt that he's written on, and you can kind of see through it because receipts aren't made on very good paper. Chester has some good recommendations on file. If you're willing to vouch for Dargan, then you would be eligible to be a probationary agent.
Did you hear that, Dargan? Much like you're a probationary member of this team, you'd be a probationary agent. Prove yourself in one eye, you'll prove yourself in both, and before you know it, you'll be looking around with a pair of really nice peepers. Isn't that great?
You are probationarily edible.
Hey, we talked about that, not in front of the wizards, okay?
I'm willing to join, but I have one condition.
Naturally.
I want patches.
Patches.
Yes. Can we all get patches? No society is a society without patches. And how will we know which ones are good and which ones are bad? And who we can trust without a patch?
I was taking a drink and I realized as I was doing so, I'm like, I better stop drinking because I bet this is going to be really, really funny. I was so right.
I find your term acceptable.
Okay. Well, then it's settled. We get patches and I'm an agent of the Coriander Society. Yep.
You have to complete your first. You have to complete your first mission to get your first mission patch, and then after you've got your mission patch, then with a patch, you're officially a member of the society. So you bring back
Technicalities.
Agent McCarthy, and you'll be officially inducted. And together, we will root out this evil, save the Earth, redeem the very soul of the Coriander Society, and stop the universe from being eaten by a giant dragon.
Sounds
Well, sir,
easy
while
enough.
I I understand the legitimacy of your claim. Technically, since this is not a official meeting between the Coriander Society and our party, you effectively scouted us by selecting us here, hearing us out, and then now inducting us into this secret society within the secret society. Technically, that should at least make us probationary agents until we find out exactly how this first mission goes. So at the very least, we should be Agent Carmichael and Agent Asena, and then the Coriander is to follow up on our success. Isn't that right?
Your logic baffles me, yet I find it compelling.
All right, Agent Asena. And John's gonna hold up his hand and move to shake her hand. I think we're ready to go rescue Agent McCarthy and start the secret society.
Guess so. Better get to it so we can get our mission patch.
I agree. I'm wondering what should we use as our sigil for the secret. I think if a coriander is the iconography used for the normal society, perhaps ours should be a tree of some kind. I propose papaya. And John's gonna just start walking.
A papaya tree?
Yeah, it's got a certain ring to it, and it would look great on a patch.
The papaya tree has certain mystical associations that I don't know. They tie the symbolism of the coriander seed goes back all the way to the days of the Israelite tribes and the manna in the desert. In ancient China, it was considered part of a love potion. And if you look back to the original founding of the society, was this powerful bond. John's continuing to walk off as Paracelsus is just elaborating on all this trivia.
As he's expanding upon this, John's papaya is used as slang for a very naughty part, and I think that's hilarious. That should be the basis of our entire philosophy.
That is precisely why. And then he falls over, and he pokes out from on top of the balcony. Precisely why you should consider something else.
And you've got the entire leg of our adventure to consider. And when you come back, the Papaya Tree Society will take it under consideration.
And he plumps over. This time out of exasperation rather than soul transfer. When the lot of you exit the theater and you're back in the lobby, it's pretty much exactly as you left it. Dargan follows. There's a partially eaten paper bag still with grease on it. Slurps it back down. And Paracelsus remains behind. It's just the four of you and the front door that leads back to the astral.
Is there more popcorn?
There's always more popcorn.
Oh, well then, fantastic.
We better fill up for the road.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
How many bags of holding do you have?
Enough.
Add enough popcorn to your inventory, please.
Glorious. Yeah, were we able to get that one that I requested for Asena? I know we got a haversack, but did we actually get a bag of holding?
Yeah, I got one.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Oh, thank gosh. Great.
Where will you go? You have the universe at your disposal.
Well, I guess we should go spring the guy. So we need a way back to Yord, which is always difficult to get to for some reason, because we haven't done the museum portal heist.
We really need to make that happen, because, man, that would be so nice. That'd be so easy. We already did all the research and all the prep for it. We literally, at just the touch of a button, are able to make that happen.
It's true.
John is just idly talking to us, saying, I had also considered. I know we spent all that time to really, get a good idea of how we're going to make this happen. And I know that you talked to your maybe mom, and there's the possibility of us requisitioning it as well. But man, what would have been hilarious is if we would have dressed up as Dr. Zorbius and his robots and just stole the thing. Made it look like he rolled in, took this piece of priceless Zoquian art. I know that's not what it actually is, but that's what they believe it is. And then just left. And then everyone would be further pissed at Zorbius, and we'd have the thing, and no one would ever come looking for it.
We could even use Circe to be like, shrink ray it, and they just think it's Zorbius tech.
Exactly. Now you're thinking with portals.
That's way better than our other ideas.
I know. Hey, you know what? Maybe those other ideas will not have come to fruition by the time we return to Yord, and maybe we can just do exactly that.
Well, what do we do now?
Well, we have to go rescue Hank McCarthy, but I just realized Paracelsus didn't really tell us where he was. He's with the Coriander Society. He's somewhere safe, apparently, under lock and key.
No, Hank McCarthy is with General Sugomo.
Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
That's why he wants him extracted.
Then there we go. We need to go to Yord anyway. We'll go to Yord, we'll grab the portal, and then we'll go grab Hank McCarthy. And then we didn't really specify. John rushes back in the theater to check and see if Paracelsus is still there.
He is.
Oh, thank goodness. Hey, once we rescue our forlorn agent, Hank McCarthy, where should we go for extraction?
Good
you
question.
Have an extraction plan, right?
Well, we don't have a lot of resources available that we can fully trust yet. Who do you actually trust?
I trust a lot of people because I keep good friendships and I surround myself with trustworthy people. But
great, such as
well, in Yord specifically, we have Hara and pretty much the entirety of the Institute. We have our previous partner Gaston and everything that they are able to bring to bear under their organization. We have, let me pull up my list of people in Yord. Hold on just a moment. This is a big world with a lot of
those
people.
and let me know the ascending. No, call me. Call me. You have my number. And he pulls out a cell phone, but it's like one of those 1980s huge business phones. It's not a smartphone with the antenna that you have to. So just pick one of those and then call me with the details, and we'll plan from there.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Aside from just messaging you, is there any way that we'll be able to we can just call you and that's fine? No one's going to trace it?
You shouldn't. You have my number. This is a safe line.
Wait a minute. I have just a question here. When you called us, you had other people on the line with you. Where did they think you were going and who were you meeting? You were talking directly to us. There's nobody within that room. Is that one person that you trust in that room with you?
Yes.
Are you lying right now?
No.
Are you sure?
Slump. Get up. Yes, I'm sure.
Why do you keep doing that?
Because I felt uncomfortable.
Get used to it. Okay. Well, John's going to close the door. Slam the door, in fact. All right. So who do we want to risk getting embroidered in this situation? I feel like the Institute would probably be the best choice, but I kind of don't want to put them under any more scrutiny than they already have. Gaston's an amazing follow-up, but he's trying to run an entire criminal empire. I know he's not calling it a criminal empire, but that's what it is. He took over a criminal empire. Who does that leave? Hey, what about your maybe mom? She was thinking about coming with us to Lacunas, wasn't she?
Yeah, to plan a party.
So, I mean, what if we grabbed McCarthy, used one of your mom's safe houses, and then spirited her away to Lacunas, so that way, if there is any fallout, she's going to be very far away with no one to lead back to her.
Why do we need her, though?
Well, because she has an amazing amount of resource and power within Yord, and we need someone to help us keep Hank McCarthy safe once we bust him out of whatever situation he happens to find himself in right now.
I mean, that could work. I don't think anyone's going to look for him at my mom's house.
I would hope it wouldn't be specifically your mom's house, but yes, I mean, I guess that could work. Are you okay putting her into a modicum of danger until we spirit her away?
Oh, sure. I'm pretty sure she's used to danger.
Should we talk to her first or just make the assumption this will be fine?
You want to call her interdimensionally?
Sure, I can either send her a message or yeah, we can try to call her, I would assume. Yeah, that should work.
You can get good service from the Panopticon lobby, just not inside the theaters.
You know, why don't you try? I don't think you've had a chance to run the show on your own call on your phone. Give it a try.
Okay. Do I just talk to it again?
Yeah.
She'll pull out her phone. Call maybe mom.
Calling maybe mom. It rings a couple of times. You almost think you hear a rotary telephone being dialed for some reason, even though it wouldn't work that way. And a couple of moments later, you've reached Pinnacle Towers. This is speaking on behalf of Miss Ruiz Carrington. How may I take your call?
I want to talk to my maybe mom,
I'm sorry, who is this?
Asena. You don't have my number? This is my new number. You should save it.
I don't know how I would see your number, miss. That's... excuse me just a moment.
They're working on some pretty old tech over there. They don't even know who's calling.
Hello? Hello? Asena, hello!
Hi. I'm calling from a different world.
Are you safe, darling?
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Sorry we had to take off right after the funeral, but I had a favor to ask of you.
From across the cosmos and the very nature of our reality. What a wonder, what a wonder. Anything, darling, yes.
Yeah. So, long story short, we joined a secret society.
Congratulations! This is such an important part of growing up. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Which one?
We
Don't
might
tell me. Don't
even-
tell me. It's a secret.
It's true. I can't tell you, but we might get patches.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. So my first mission, I have to spring somebody from somebody's being like abducted, and I gotta save them. And I was wondering if you had connections to anywhere safe that we could hold him until we're able to get him out of the world.
Well, certainly. That sounds quite dangerous. I'd be happy to help. Of course, I have connections. I'm always prepared just in case of the ransom or abduction or such things. Without betraying the confidence of your new society, is there anything you can tell me about this person?
He's very trustworthy, and he's in trouble.
Does he have any enemies? I simply want to make sure that whoever I associate with, wherever I put him, doesn't put him in even greater danger. It's a very complex social web throughout the entire city. Surely you understand.
That's a good question. Hold on. Hey, John.
Yes.
Does Hank? Who's Hank's enemies?
Well, technically, it would be the greater evils, elder evils of the cosmos.
Yeah, like maybe like
probably-
on a yard level.
Oh, well, any Coriander seekers that could possibly be lingering there searching for him if they haven't already found him. And presumably General Segumo and the entirety of the Commonwealth Army.
Oh yeah, that is who we're saving him from. Okay, thanks.
Of course.
We are rescuing him from General Segumo. Do you know that guy?
What, from the general?
Yeah, he's not so great. He almost tried to kill us. Maybe. Or something like that. It was at least threatened.
But he's been so generous. He's
He's
dear.
kind of creepy looking, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he's actually rather striking, but darling,
Wow.
this could be, there could be some difficulties. Oh, this could be quite complicated.
What? Why?
Do you recall, love, how you'd asked me to intervene on your behalf about a certain collection at the museum?
Oh, right, that one. Yeah.
Well, I've been working on that, and I had some very wonderful news until just now.
What happened?
I called in some favors, and I made some very generous donations, and there were a couple of administrative blocks, but I received assistance in securing the rights to the entire exhibit and its safe storage with the help and sponsorship of one General Sugomo.
Okay. So does he have the portal? I mean, that artifact?
His vehicles are going to collect it tonight.
Okay. Don't you worry about this, maybe, Mom. Everything's gonna be fine.
Oh, I'm sure it will, dear. I'm sure it will. Just how threatened to kill you? Was he particularly suave and debonair about it, or what was the? I'm just trying to ascertain the exact nature of these threats.
I think you're gonna be okay. He's not gonna hurt you because he
What
doesn't.
about you? I'm concerned for your safety. I fear I may have. Oh, what have I done?
Don't worry. I'm a lot stronger than you think.
Yes. You certainly are, love. You certainly are. Oh dear. Oh, so
This could be great. This if General Sugumo's, if they're all involved with getting the artifact, we can use that as a diversion to get our friend back. And then we'll just have to find a way to get the artifact later.
yes.
Maybe.
Yes. No, that's good. That's good. That's excellent thinking, love.
See, so everything's fine, and you set us up great.
Oh, very good. Very good. I'll make some calls about your friend, and I'll make sure none of them travel in the same circles as the other striking general.
Yeah. We'll find you another one, a better one.
That one.
Please, darling, I don't lack for options. Trust me. You don't worry about me. You worry about yourself.
Oh, okay. Because after that, then we can go to the other world, so we can plan the gala.
Oh. Yes.
Think
Perhaps.
problems seem a lot smaller when you think about other worlds.
Quite. What is any of this in the grand scheme of the dance of the spheres, after all? Oh. Much more manageable.
Okay, well, my interdimensional minutes are running out.
Does that mean you need? Of course. You go ahead. Hurry home, please. I'm sure that his convoy will be making all the preparations tonight. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know right away. All right?
Okay, just text me back.
I'm
Bye.
sorry, what? Click.
She hangs up the phone. John, we have a problem.
How much of that was John able to hear?
Asena's side, and I wasn't keeping track of what she said and what. So I think he knows something's up. He definitely knows something's up, but I don't know how much he knows is up.
So I was able to catch about half of that. Where is it? And Sugumo's involvement, how dire is that going to be for us?
Well, it's still in the museum for the next couple hours until Sugumo and his friends pick it up. Tonight.
John's eyes light up. Really? Sugumo is going to come pick up the thing that we want to steal,
Yes.
and he'll take it to his compound
Yes.
where he's keeping Hank McCarthy.
Yeah. Okay, so
So-
we just need to go through that portal.
Yeah, exactly. This is perfect. We party till nightfall.
Oh man. Oh man. Crap. It's perfect though. It's perfect. Oh, this is just like the movie Dungeons and Dragons.
Exactly. It's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie. All right. So the portal technically goes to the Obsidian Tower,
Yes.
home base of the Pact Malefic.
Mhm.
You've been able to do hacking in the past, but based on your knowledge of the arcane, that's going to be tricky if the thing's in transit. It's going to add another layer of complexity.
Wouldn't we just wait till it's no longer in transit? We can go to the tower and then wait until...
Yeah. What I'm saying is you've hacked it before where you use that portal to go to not the tower, but for maximum success, you're going to want to go to the tower in this case.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been too long, I'd say, since we visited the Obsidian Tower of the Pact Malefic.
Further complication. You cannot get to the tower from the astral plane.
Come again for Big Fudge?
You cannot use the astral plane to go to the tower. It's dimensionally
So aside from
isolated.
this portal,
Mhm.
how do we know how to get to the tower? I've been there before.
Right. But it's sealed against teleportation, so you need to use one of the other portals to get in.
Correct. So what would be the other easily accessible portals to get to the tower?
Which ones have you been in? There's the one on Verdura.
That would not be that difficult. We're already we're not in Perianth right now, but it wouldn't be
Right.
difficult to go from Perianth to
Mhm.
Verdura.
There's the one on Zelzosh.
Slightly more complicated, especially if that planet is,
Mhm.
Sub-Zero, Blizzard, Ice Age territory right now.
Right. There's the one in Leftover.
A little more difficult, but we should be able to get to Leftover from the astral plane, right?
Theoretically, yeah. There's the one on Earth underneath Boston.
Okay,
May have
that
exploded. Probably
may have
exploded.
exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the one in Merlin World. That one's tricky in general.
Actually, definitely exploded. John just would have gone through that portal if it was available.
Yeah. So that one blew up from the other side. There's the one in Merlin World, but that one's always tricky. Getting to Merlin World is tricky without using that portal. There's just all sorts of blocks and barriers around it.
Yeah, exactly.
There might be cracks that make it possible, but it would be difficult. I think those are the ones that you know about, unless I'm forgetting something.
John's going to propose either Nowhere or Verdura. He can easily teleport us back to Perianth, and it would be very quick to, relatively quick to either use an ether relay or convince someone to give them a ship or drop them off in Verdura.
You have until
Or we could just go, huh?
You have until tonight.
Well, he picks it up tonight.
Oh, right. Yeah. I consider the time frame. You're correct.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to take too long. I'd prefer it to happen they bring it there, drop it off, and then bam, we pop out. That would be pretty excellent.
Right. So the faster you can
Especially
make
for
this, the
everyone
better,
watching
but
the
it
movie.
doesn't have to be instant.
Exactly. So John's going to propose either a more long, drawn out, but easily transferable and feasible mission to Pyrespace, or we can possibly get lost in the astral plane going to a place that really shouldn't exist anymore. One's more dangerous and faster. One will take a little longer, but will be more assured.
Don't look at me. I'm always going to choose the astral.
Hey, going to Nowhere it is. I hope that you have that ready, mate.
All right. Well,
I think you had a map of Nowhere once before. We
I
pulled up
do.
a map of
No,
Nowhere.
I can handle this. I got this. Do you want to
So while he's preparing, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you want to head back out into the astral yet, or do you want to continue the scene inside the lobby?
I think we've gotten all of this that we can. I think we'll head to the astral, right, Asena?
Yeah.
John
Again,
will
then.
pop his head back into Paracelsus. Hey, any chance you could start casting a teleport and then stop?
Not really my area of expertise. Why?
Well, because I'd like to not waste the resources, but that's fine. And John slams the door again. He opens it. How the hell do you get out of here? How'd you even get here?
You walk out the front door.
Okay, but where does it go?
The astral plane.
Oh! John slams the door.
When you
Moment later, he opens it. Thank you, sir. And then he slams the door again.
Every time that you close the door, one of his other bodies, like he activates one and walks towards the door and then clumps, and then the other one activates because he's like trying to leapfrog them out.
Are you kidding? Okay, hold on. John has a much better idea for this. This is very funny what he's doing. John is going to take let's see here. We don't have that kind of time.
I'll manage. God.
Okay, sir, remind me. I have a means of making this far simpler for you. Just remind me if we have enough time to prepare something for you. This is ridiculous for a man of your stature. As John just like nearly laughs watching him leapfrog over himself.
Please, after thousands of years alive, my dignity is the least of my concerns. Most people who mock me or belittle me, I just rest in comfort knowing that someday I'll be pissing on their graves. If you could just help me to the front door.
Goodbye, sir. And John closes the door.
The end credits, the post-credits stinger for this episode is going to be him like dragging one of his other bodies just up the aisle and then stopping to take a break. Whew. Leaving. All right, so you shut the door again on the theater, leaving the two of you in the front lobby of the Panopticon. What do you do?
Well, I want to put a chair in front of the door, but I'm not going to.
That's your call. All you have to do to get back to the astral is go out the front door.
Oh, well, I guess that's it. Are you ready? Do we have
Sure.
enough popcorn?
No.
We definitely. Did you get any extra?
Yeah, he's engorged himself on popcorn.
Yeah, I think you have enough. I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this. And John will open the door.
All right. The astral is right on the other side. You literally like step through the door and you think you'd fall off, but now you're floating in the silver sea once again.
Is the red velvety mist right behind us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
And obviously, the red velvet is theater curtains. Now that you're on the other side of it, it looks obvious.
Nice. You know, I wonder what Paracelsus is going to do to get out of here. Is he just going to like hold hands and just one of them think until they arrive where they need to be? Part of me would pay money to see that.
I think you've tortured him enough.
I think that he slightly deserved it. But regardless, next time we'll help him out of the theater. I think this time he needs to back up his claim of not worrying what people think of him. Until then, I guess let's think about nowhere.
How do you think about nowhere?
Exactly. And John's going to start focusing on that place that really no longer exists.
Okay. The broken, shattered remnants of a world scattered across existence and now slowly decaying over strangely stretched time. How long will it take to get there? Let's find out.
Once John locks in on it, he's going to say, well, Asena, unlike you, I don't really have a good sense of these things, so I guess it's your turn to trust me. This might be a while. Should we locate Rocco first? I don't know how long this is going to take. And until you've attuned to this
Sure.
place, we don't really have your general sense of things.
We could be safe. Go get Rocco.
All right, sounds good. I'll focus on nowhere. You focus on Rocco, and every now and then I'll just kind of keep peering into nowhere so we stay at least on a semblance of knowing where to go.
Each of you please roll 1d6 as you return once again to the astral sea.
A 4.
4.
Once more.
And all right.
Fun.
It's going to take you 5 hours.
Nicely done.
Don't worry. Encounters
Oh
don't happen on
my.
a low roll.
All right.
5 hours later, you arrive once again at your beautiful friend.
Oh, Rocco. It's been too long. It's good to see you again, old friend.
Whoop. Hold on. There, I fixed Rocco.
Oh, good. Oh, hey, Slakura's here as well.
Sakura stares as if caught in the middle of something and then poofs out of existence.
What the hell was that?
You glimpsed for a moment through the curtain of reality itself. The meta dimension that governs your actual lives.
My
Concealed
God.
within Rocco, you can now begin your journey.
Whoop.
Is there anything that you want aside from montage and aside from whatever encounters I happen to roll?
John is going to. Gosh, I had a thing. Mate, while he was reading last time on this last 5-hour stretch, would John have been able to start working on something? He was just going to cast a runic spell. I feel like we could probably do that while floating in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like a ritual, but it takes 2 hours longer instead of 10 minutes longer.
Okay.
So John's going to cast 2 runic spells of... What is that ability called? Floating disc.
Mm-hmm.
And he is going to... Was there anything on Paracelsus' person that seemed to be rather important to them? Some sort of trinket, something that they...
A fuzzy
Were they
hat.
fidgeting? A fuzzy hat?
He likes his fuzzy hat quite a bit.
Likes his fuzzy hat quite a bit. So if John was able to have like a little pen that you could pin onto the hat, he would appreciate such a thing.
Quite possibly.
All right, so John's going to put one of the runic spells of floating disc onto a little pin that he has, and then he's going to put the other onto a wooden spoon.
Okay. 20 hours later. I'm going to give you the chance to narrate anything that you wanted to happen during those 20 hours. Otherwise, we'll proceed to the world of leftover, which I might need a moment to retrieve from deep storage.
Pods, would Asena like a spell tattoo?
Sure.
Would you
Might
like...
as well while we wait here.
While we wait, yeah, John can just start imbuing a tattoo. Would you like something offensive, something defensive, or something utilitarian?
Why don't you surprise me?
Ooh, surprise. I love surprises. Okay.
You never know what you're gonna need when you go to nothing, nowhere, no world. Where are we going?
We're going to nowhere.
Nowhere. What's at nowhere?
Everywhere. Everywhere that once was and is no longer there.
And that's how we're gonna get to the portal?
That's exactly how we're going to get to the portal.
Hmm. You know, my maybe mom was so worried that she messed up by giving the portal to General Sugumo, but Sounds like that's the best thing she could have done.
I would tend to agree with you. That was, I mean, I know it was unintentional, but it was pretty pog, actually.
Also, she doesn't know how to text with her phone.
No, I think technically everything she does with that phone is texting initially, but not in the sense that we're typically used to. Okay, that'll cost 250 smackaroons if I do that. I think that'll work. You seem to benefit from that kind of stuff. And John's going to request, or rather specify, Asena, would you like Celtic knotwork or something else? I specialize either in old Nordic runes, Celtic knotwork, or these little dots, dashes, lines, and circles that kind of look like a circuit board.
What's a circuit board?
Celtic knotwork it is. And John begins setting about these very primal, ancient-looking runes that weave around. Let's see. It's going to be probably on. We're kind of cramped up in this. Well, not super cramped, but not exactly. There's not a lot of space. So John's just going to kind of sit up behind her. He'll remove at least the upper part of the clothing from the back of her shoulders and take out his magical inks and begin setting to work, placing a tattoo along the back, like the lower part of the nape of the neck and onto the shoulders.
And what power is infused within this tattoo?
That's going to be the spell of invisibility.
Always a classic. Always a good choice.
Always.
After 20 hours has gone by, Rocco comes within range of another swirling color pool. Silver light against silver light, the color of the prime material of a physical, corporeal world. But this pool is troubled. It churns, it swirls like a whirlpool. It bubbles up. It almost seems torn or frayed. It's messed up.
Well, that's
And-
weird.
I recognize this, right, mate?
You recognize this effect? This specific pool? I mean, you've never been here this way. So, I don't think you would have ever seen this color pool before. The last
But
time
it
you went here,
looks-
you went through the portal. It looks messed up.
looks
That
pretty.
lines up with it, and you're thinking about leftover, so ostensibly, this must be it.
Perfect. And mate, I don't. We haven't really gone over exactly how long it takes to craft bullets or make a tattoo, but I would assume that if we have like we don't have to sleep here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we said that no sleeping, no eating, no drinking, all that stuff.
Correct.
Would he be able to make a spell tattoo and a spell bullet in the 20 hours he has to do this?
Sure.
Cool. All right. There we go. And all right. Oh, I guess we're here. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and just kind of kick Rocco adrift. I don't know what Rocco thinks about when they're not here with us, but
Rocco's a rock.
Rocco is indeed a rock, head empty. Only rock thoughts.
Does Rocco exist when we're not around?
Oh, let's not get into that existential kind of thought.
If Rocco splashes in the astral sea and there's no one around, does it make a sound?
Rocco's a rock. We're gonna go ahead and enter the color pool, I believe.
Okay. Could I have both of you roll a Constitution saving throw, please?
You may not, but we'll
Oh,
do what we
yeah.
must. How did I not know you were going to
That
say
implies that he can.
It does indeed. Constitution, you say?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Um,
going to use a luck die.
Not so happy with the 7.
not. I feel better about a 17, to be sure.
Okay. Passing through the portal, there's a moment of extreme pain as your molecules do something they're not supposed to. The color
Oh.
pool is fractured because the world beyond it itself is fractured. It feels less like you're stepping through a curtain that leads from one world to another, and more like you're passing through a sieve or a storm drain and just barely squeezing between the bars.
Oh my god.
Upon arrival, the weightlessness of the astral plane is replaced by a churning, spinning center of gravity. You are not you're falling, but the direction that you're falling just keeps changing wildly, moment after moment. And if I could have each of you please roll 1d10.
1d10, you say? I do this thing that you ask. No modifiers, just a regular d10,
Just
right?
a d10.
I got a 2. It shows a 9 on screen, but it's a 2.
I see a 9 and a 2 from you and a 2 from Pods.
Oh! See, I rolled the 9, and then I looked down and saw the 2,
Yep.
and they rolled at like the same time, so yeah.
That'll happen. Well, when you arrive, Asena, you see bits and chunks of a broken world. Pools of water just float through, boiling from no apparent source. Streaks of plasma from dead stars go winding by. Chunks of a broken continent. You seem to find yourself clinging onto one of them. But in this exact moment of your arrival, these forces are in balance. You're able to breathe the air. You're able to think your way towards gravity, even if you're standing on different chunks of rock and looking up at each other. For the moment, things are stable, but this is an inherently unstable universe. And who knows how long this will hold. John, you don't recognize where you are because it's all broken, right? I think +1 XP for me.
Correct. So this is not the goal that we are heading towards?
No, you arrived in Leftover. But remember, when you think of Yord, you could end up on a portal that leads you to Jupiter.
I see. So this is not the same place that we've gone. I remember Asena actually did come here at one point.
Mhm.
We were rushing through here. So this is not the place that we've been to before. This is
Oh.
somewhere else.
In Leftover.
Leftover.
Correct.
I see. Okay. Well, now we need to find the portal. So, as you said, we I guess technically could be anywhere. So now we need to find what we're looking for. Just on the off chance that we maybe somehow, somewhere, might be in the right place. John's going to cast Detect Object.
Okay. You're trying to detect it?
Yes. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. Where are you? Detect Object. Locate. That's it. Locate Object. So it needs to technically be within 1,000 feet of you, but I'm wondering if John could at any point somehow amplify this sensor to try to find something a little closer than just 1,000 feet away.
I'll tell you what. This world, given that it's broken and shattered, it's not simply that you arrive and everything's broken. Space and time, well, space mostly, has been completely disrupted. And over the years since this catastrophe has happened, this world has slowly decayed and shrunk. But,
Oh,
I mean, you never spent too much time here studying it. But one thing that you and Asena both realize is that while you're here, you can control your own gravity. Because it's a broken world, the laws of physics don't seem to apply anymore. So when you cast that locate object spell, John,
yeah.
it's pulling you towards something. You don't know how far it is, but it's pulling you towards something.
Okay.
And by thinking about it, just like in the astral, you can fly. The difference is you're not in an infinite, featureless sea. You're in a roiling, churning, disastrous asteroid belt of what remains of a dead world.
Mate, I just remembered there's one more place that we've been to within the tower. Mirrorverse. And there's a piece of the flesh of core in the Mirrorverse as well.
There is. Do you want to go after it right now?
I mean, it's not an awful idea, but I suppose technically once we reach the tower, we could, as long as we, here's the thing, if we can get a hold of the Yord portal, it's easy to go to and from the tower.
Yes.
But if we can't get it, this is a good chance to make sure we can tackle something that we might not have a chance to easily do later. Although we just showed that we can get there from here, but I don't know how much longer here is going to be here.
True.
Question, mate. There's no way to, if we find the portal, there's no way for us to, I know John talked in the past, we had to rush through here, but would John be able to salvage? I know I asked and you said that we could rebuild it, but it might not work the same. If John was given enough time, would he be able to salvage and try and rebuild this portal rather than having it be lost to nowhere?
You could try.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, John's going to inform Asena that he has made at least some sort of sympathetic connection to what he believes they're seeking, and he's going to follow it.
But as the two of you start floating towards it, the rock you were just standing on cracks and begins to radiate with terrible inner heat as what's left of the core of some long dead planet, that ancient fire, reawakens. The ground and the chunks nearby you burn, and the air near you becomes scalding as the rocks themselves start to melt, and you find yourselves floating through a sea of molten lava that's slowly closing towards you. But that sounds like a problem for another episode of Coriander Society Adventures. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you're watching us live, stick around for Loriander. We'll be right back.